Hey players, so Justice Alito has responded to the calls for him to recuse himself from the January 6 cases. He did exactly what we thought he would do. He blamed his wife. Y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. Let's get into it. So as we know, honey, the calls for Justice Alito to recuse himself or just completely get the hell out of the Supreme Court have increased ever since the New York Times dropped some articles revealing that Justice Alito flew an appeal to heaven flag and an upside down American flag outside of his house. Now, these two flags are significant because they were the flags that were flown by the January 6 insurrectionists. So Senators Dick Durbin and Sheldon Whitehouse sent a letter to Chief Justice Roberts pushing for Justice Alito to recuse himself from all the January 6 insurrection cases. So baby, today Justice Alito sent them a 3-page letter and enclosed it with a fuck you and have a nice day, and decreed and declared that he would not be recusing himself from those January 6 insurrection cases. In the letter, Justice Alito said that the two incidents you cite do not meet the conditions for recusal. He then goes on to explain these flag flying incidents and blame his wife, honey. He says he and his wife own the home together. She has a legal right to do what she want to do at the home, and there is nothing that he could have done about it. He decrees and declares that his wife was under great distress at the time because of a very nasty neighborhood dispute in which he had no involvement in it, honey. He wants to make sure to separate himself. He says a house down the street displayed a sign attacking her personally, and a man living at that same house trailed her all the way down the street and berated her in his presence using foul language. He didn't do nothing about it though. So he decrees and declares that his wife is a private citizen and she possesses the same First Amendment rights as every other American. She makes her own decisions and he has always respected her right to do so. She has also made many sacrifices to accommodate his service to the Supreme Court, including the insult of having to endure numerous loud, obscene, and personally insulting protests in front of his home, and continue to this day. Now they threaten to escalate. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So he says that he's confident that any reasonable person who is not motivated by political or ideological considerations or a desire to affect the outcome of the Supreme Court cases would conclude that the events recounted above do not meet the applicable standard for recusal. And he's therefore required to reject the request for him to recuse himself. Players, I'm gonna leave you with this. Y'all know I work in real estate, and I previously worked for the Housing Authority. Y'all know that's governed by the federal and state government. And I remember signing a memorandum that stated that we were not allowed to post any signage in our yards in support of any candidate. We weren't allowed to campaign for a candidate. We weren't allowed to wear t-shirts or buttons or anything like that in support of any candidate. Of course, you need to go vote, but definitely not you cannot display that outwardly. I remember commenting on a Facebook post about politics or something, and I remember my supervisor calling me and saying, you can't do that. You got to take that down. You can lose your job expeditiously. So I said all of that to say this. If I had done any of those things and I had turned to them and said, oh, well, my husband did it, and they're going to say to me, you mean to tell me that you drove up to that house every single day and you didn't see that flag hanging outside of that house? That's what they're going to say. Samuel Alito is a lie, and the truth ain't never been in him. He let them flags fly out there because he's in support of it. And this is absolutely absurd. Players, put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mother for the Black Accurate News.